You make your way back to Rinthane, still under construction after everything that happened, and Celeste greets you with some of the soldiers. And as she waves at everyone, she sees all the wounds that you're all still nursing, as well as your new golden bird companion and eggs and everything else. It seems like there is quite a story here, isn't there?
And Dag would
So
also
it
be
would
coming
seem.
back with the stinger
Oh, yes.
and the head of the halberd, the skull of it.
Oh, you kept it? I thought you burned it away. Are you talking about the? Are you talking about the one that was actually on its head?
Yeah,
There was two heads. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have this giant owl skull, basically. Tell me what happened.
It's quite the event. I'm sure Sylvia can tell you the first part of our expedition, but after our rest near the tree, we headed northwest and happened upon a strange grove with a giant bee creature that seemed to stand over some altar. Vashton, with some reluctance, went up to it and offered up some holy symbol of Ren
Hellwise.
and of Hellwise and these bee people, whatever they are. And in exchange, got a pot of honey.
I take it that this honey led to something more than that, though.
This honey was quite integral in the end.
Indeed. Aside from this, we did some searching and I got these strange flowers that kind of make your head feel at peace when you smell them. You can have one if you wish. I'm not sure what to do with them yet.
I think I have more important things to take care of, but please go on.
And what else did we find? There's some strange flower that would have some glowing pollen and
my giant red flower, and I'll present it if it's still looking decent.
It's slowly withering, but at least right now it still looks okay. Very impressive.
I would like to put it on Mother Wren's box before we leave.
Very well, I will take you there. And I'm not sure if I should say little brother or older brother, but we do have some work to do around.
Sebastian looks a little perplexed at Celeste, but doesn't.
We can handle family matters later. And what else happened other than these bees? What is that school you have?
it is of a creature that was called the owlbear. If the guild wishes to know more about its story, there's a person by the name of Felice Burroself on Muten by, what was it?
I think it was the Eagle's Roost I heard about this person.
Yes. She told me to tell the story of the owlbear, and we used that to our advantage. It was a stinger in the back of this creature, a curse by its old lover. We used this knowledge to try to pry it and free it from its curse, and after much struggle and Aiden bravely jumping on top, and as well as just about everyone here, we managed to get the stinger loose, and once doing so, I pulled it and it came loose and toppled down towards my direction and nearly flattened me.
It is a miracle you survived then.
Yes, I'm lucky to have my legs still.
From what I've heard, I'm surprised you didn't get destroyed by swarms of bees.
Oh, there's actually a good reason for that. The bee that we traded with to attain that honey,
Hmm.
we managed to meet her again the next day. I believe it managed to understand what I was saying in Vielthorn, and when when I told it what we were going to do, that we were going to eliminate the owlbear, and asked it for anything that could help us, it provided us with a bush of flowers that released incense, and this incense seemed to calm the bees down, so they wouldn't sting us while we weren't on the owl bear's back.
Fascinating. And so you slayed this creature, and what happened then?
We entered its nest and found 3 of these strange eggs. I can't imagine there'd be anything but its children or something similar. So hopefully not as foul. It might be good to keep an eye on what hatches and
Perhaps you
visit.
can bring them to Mother Inn, and she could tell you more.
That'd be
Perhaps so.
wise. There was some hole that looked somewhat like a key. We tried this strange sword that was covered in honey and bees, and it seems to have melted away, but some strange honey still drips from it constantly. Sarek, you can show her.
Perhaps we could use this for an endless supply of honey for Sin's Isle.
It seems not. It kind of vanishes as you pull it away from the sword.
Then what use is it?
Who knows? Maybe it does something to whoever you strike it with.
Well, keep it away from Tin's Isle, or I wouldn't want you to get in trouble for magic. Perhaps wrap it or something else.
Yes. It might be worthwhile finding some small quarry and seeing what that thing does.
Yes, well, if there is nothing else, then I will take you to Mother Inn. We can consider this expedition closed.
There's 3 other things I'd like to add.
Go ahead.
Well, in the grove, we did find the crest of the fawn, I believe, on benches in the middle. So the grove does seem like it has a connection there. If anybody is seeking to maybe figure out more about this grove and the bee that trades there.
Indeed.
Yes,
And
I believe it was the lion's crest.
Perhaps there is more to be learned of our old family here. This is clearly our land, I would have to say. And
So it would seem.
what were your other 2 things, Sir Aiden?
Before we returned to the grove and slayed the beasts, we were making camp. It's where we found the bird. During the night, we saw this bird glowing, but being chased by 2 of the ants that we mentioned before the Sylvia the night before that. They had humanoid eyes and all that, and were attacking. We came to his rescue and felled one of the beasts off of a log bridge. The other one ran away.
I see.
As we were...
And what would you say of these creatures for other adventurers? Are these things formidable opponents, or can they easily be wasted away like most ants?
They were giant ants, and they were pretty heavily armored, and they have a stinger that seemed very dangerous.
She looks over Navastian's armor. Was that from the bear or the ants?
The ants.
A bit of both.
I see.
Mostly the ants, sadly.
And
they have very, very formidable opponents, and their poison is incredibly potent. Look at all these acid marks on my armor.
And what was this last thing you wished to mention, Aiden?
As we were trying to save the bird and heal it, we heard a cry coming from beneath the log bridge. We went to investigate, and it sounded like a human cry, but all we found was a humanoid-looking ant person, like mostly human, but with ant carapace and everything else.
Hmm.
She was still twitching, but we were not able to save her. We ended up burying her, but we found no traces of the giant ant that we slayed before. So we think that she was definitely connected with that, as in, like, some type of creature that turns into an ant.
I have
Might
heard
be-
other stories in these lands of such things. What were you going to say, Sir Dag?
Yes, it might be wise to, in the future, try to take these creatures down without killing them and perhaps see if they revert or whatever.
Very well. Is there anything else, or can I take you to the chamber now?
The only other thing is we found the head of the bear creature in the story and burned away with evil that lingered in that area of the tree. It seems to be much at peace, and I saw a vision of the past of the owl creature and the bee woman walking together in peace.
A good story, then. Very well. I shall take you to Mother Rin's Thane, and there you shall rest and recover.